But to the government, our message is that we need to get a deal, we need to get around the table, and they need to show some goodwill and some expertise and some facilitation to try and create a document or a set of documents that we can all support. And at the moment, they know that what they're putting forward to us is through their agents in the Rail Delivery Group and Network Rail. They know that that's not good enough, but I believe we can get there. I'm an optimist. And if we can get the Rail Minister and ourselves and the employers around the table, perhaps we can work something up. And I'm willing to do that whenever they're ready. Well, because I think he's having to pursue a line that is given to him by the government, and the train operating companies are in the same position. So I'm an optimist because I go to negotiations to try and create a settlement. I hope that everybody at the table, including the government, comes in with the same attitude, and then we can create a deal. If I wasn't an optimist, I wouldn't turn up for any of these things. We'd all be just stuck in our bunkers, sending messages to each other. But I go to talks in order to create a settlement. So that's why I'm optimistic that if we can all move forward together, we can get a settlement to this dispute. No, well, 2/3 were not willing to accept it in a very straightforward democratic vote on a very high turnout. And the company, Network Rail, put on a big effort. They sent all their managers out into the depots and stations. They made special films. They put a lot of comms together to try and get our members to accept it. And our members have resisted that very strongly. There's always going to be a constituency of people that want to settle at the first go. But they've also shown through a strike mandate ballot that we had a couple of weeks ago, or 3 or 4 weeks ago, and this latest referendum, that they're prepared to stick behind the dispute to get a settlement that they can support. So the next phase is to try and negotiate that through and get a settlement that everybody can say is acceptable.
And worry about that?
Well, we don't like disrupting the public, and we apologise for the disruption that's being caused. I believe we could have worked towards a settlement a couple of weeks ago until that was undermined by the stance that certain people have taken. So we do apologise, and we hope that people can amend their plans and get to where they need to go during this period. But they can be assured that we're working to try and get an agreement so that we can end this dispute. Many people, of course, that are travelling are also suffering similar things, that they're health workers, postal workers, people working in all sorts of industries and sectors who are suffering the same issues of low pay, conditions being stripped out, and attacks on their job security. So if we can stick together across the working class, we can maybe get some settlements that they can support, and we can get back to work and run the society in a better way.
What about this law? What do you say about that?
Well, we're sorry for that. I've met with the head of Hospitality UK, the industry body, and they were shocked to find out that during this dispute, the train operating companies will make no losses at all. The only people that are losing out are those businesses. The passengers that are disrupted are my members who lose their wages. But the government is prepared to take so far a loss of maybe 320 million quid so that they can subsidise this dispute. So the incentive is not with the train operating companies to settle this, because they've been instructed not to settle by the government. So what we need to do is get the government to say, look, we're willing to compromise, we're willing to get the hospitality industry supported by settling this dispute. But at the minute, they're saying you're not allowed to settle. And in the meantime, they will take the revenue hit and cause the disruption in the wider economy. And that's not acceptable to us. And it shouldn't be acceptable to the business community or the users of those services. Well, we hope not. We want to get a deal, but at the moment there is no deal in sight. So we've got the schedule down at the moment, which is running for the next 4 weeks. We will review that at the end of that if there's no settlement on the table, and we'll decide what our next steps are. But at the moment there is no settlement to be had. Well, we've got a campaign running, and we've got a mandate for another 5 or 6 months. And we will take the appropriate action in order to pursue our dispute. But what we'd like to do in the meantime is get a settlement. It's been 8 weeks since we've taken action. A lot of people have forgotten that. They think we're out all the time. But the government has shown no sign during that period where there's been no disruption that they want a settlement. So in order to bring this to a head, we've put this action on, and we hope that does the job, and we hope that we can get some settlements as quickly as possible.